Engineering giant SNC-Lavalin is in the middle of a legal fight of its own. Lawyers will be back in a Quebec courtroom tomorrow as a preliminary hearing picks up again into the fraud and corruption charges the company faces. These are the same charges former Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould was allegedly pressured to drop by the Prime Minister's office, sparking a political firestorm for the Trudeau government. Several senior managers at SNC-Lavalin have faced criminal charges. They are no longer with the company, but can the company's tarnished reputation be restored? Here's Mike Armstrong.
The rot at the top of this tower may have been cleaned up, but it still threatens to bring it down. The criminal charges SNC-Lavalin faces for alleged fraud and bribery in Libya could have an impact on downtown Montreal.
The problem of criminal indictment of a company is that you can't put the company in jail, but it's like the death penalty.
We're SNC-Lavalin.
Now, most observers say it's unlikely the company would go out of business, but no one thinks it's impossible either. The repercussions of a guilty verdict would be that strong. If convicted, SNC-Lavalin would be banned from bidding on projects in Canada for 10 years. That would lead to an even wider ban on projects with the World Bank and likely trickle down to bans in other countries as well.
The guilty have largely, almost entirely, we believe, left the company.
Carl Moore teaches management at McGill. He says going after the company at this point isn't punishing the people responsible, it's punishing the people left behind.
If we don't allow them to move on, they may go into bankruptcy, probably extreme, but they're probably sold off.
The company's stock has taken a huge hit over the last year. It was close to an all-time high last June at more than $60 a share. With news the corruption charges were going forward, it's lost almost half its value. If there's another company thinking takeover, SNC-Lavalin may be a bargain. Now, takeovers of Quebec companies are a very sensitive issue for Quebec's premier. In fact, they have been for every premier of this province for 4 decades. So the controversy swirling in Ottawa is playing out very differently in Quebec City.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In the federal capital, the question is whether there was pressure on the former justice minister to drop the charges and allow a remediation agreement. Well, Quebec politicians have been very vocal, saying that's what they wanted.
It is a concern because SNC-Lavalin is a company we'd like to keep healthy.
Now, not all of the company's scandals have been abroad, not even close. There have been bribes and illegal political contributions in Quebec as well. That makes protecting it delicate. SNC-Lavalin has employees from coast to coast in Canada, including about 3,000 in Ontario and just a few hundred more in Quebec.
We want to support that this company brings jobs and economic activity, but not at the expense that they can behave in a completely unethical way.
There was a time when SNC-Lavalin had a stellar reputation. It was considered a fleuron, a flower or a jewel of Quebec industry. That is less the case today. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.